Before we get into the video, just one thing I want to say. If you're considering overhauling your life and embarking on a transformational journey of your own, a new exercise plan, a new diet, make sure you do it in conjunction and with the support of your doctor. It's very important that you go and see a doctor before you embark on these things. It's awesome that you want to do that, by all means, and I'm sure your doctor is going to be more than happy to support you, but all of our bodies are different and we all react differently to different things, so it's always a really good thing to go and see your doctor first before you embark on this journey. Let's get into the video. We're at month 6, we're at the halfway mark. At this point, didn't really think that I was going to get to where I was going, but I was starting to see these results. So at the 6-month mark, this is when I thought, you know what, let's really kick this up a gear. So for month 7, 8, 9, let's really increase this cardio. So I started on a stair machine. You might look at a stair machine and go, oh my God, that looks horribly hard. And you know what? It will absolutely smash you. But guess what? It is how I shed this weight. Literally, I can pretty much graph it on when I started on the stair machine, when things really kicked into gear. And I started to see some incredible results. Not only was I losing weight, so not only was I absolutely melting fat off my body, but I was getting fitter. I was getting much fitter, which in turn meant I had more energy during the day, which meant that I also needed less sleep. So I had more time in the day to do what I wanted to do. So I started getting up earlier in the morning. When I first started my exercise, I was getting up at 6:15 during the week to go to work. I now get up at 10 to 5. Look, don't get me wrong, I had to train myself to do that. And I trained myself by doing increments. So I'd set my alarm 15 minutes earlier, and then for a week, and then all the way through. And now I don't want to go back. I absolutely love the amount of time that I have, the hours in the day that I have. So, the stair machine in my gym has a maximum setting of 20. So I started on setting 3. Now, one of the things that I did while I was on the stair machine was I figured out that if I did 2 steps at a time, I didn't fatigue my legs as quickly, but my heart rate shot up. So I was putting myself into a fat burning mode and getting into that cardio zone quicker, and I was able to sustain it for longer, which meant more fat burning. So month 7, 8, 9, this is where it was. And this is where things really started to kick off, and kick off hard. I'm seeing awesome results. I'm getting fitter. People are continuously complimenting me, saying, you look fantastic. And I felt fantastic. And that's the main thing. If you can look at yourself and you go, yes, I'm really enjoying this. I look great. I really like how I look. It's not about arrogance. It's about self-love and being positive about yourself. So 7, 8, 9, those months were really key. Now, I'll admit, when it came to my weights, I basically kept the status quo for those 3 months. I didn't increase my weights, but I didn't decrease them at the same time. However, I still increased my cardio. As I said before, with including the rowing machine, I included the stair machine, but I didn't pull anything out. At this point, I was doing 10 to 15 minutes on the treadmill, depending on what day it was. On the weekends, I did longer because obviously I've got more time. 10 minutes on the treadmill, 10 minutes on the bike, 10 minutes rowing, and then 10 minutes on the stairs. Not necessarily in that order. However, those are the things. So that's 40 minutes of cardio. Then 5 minutes on the treadmill, so potentially 45 minutes as a minimum. On the weekends, it was 15 minutes on the treadmill, 15 minutes rowing, 15 minutes on the stair machine, and then 15 minutes on the bike. So I was doing an hour of cardio on the weekend. And look, like I said, those 4 were not necessarily in that order. I tended to go towards the stair machine first because it knackers you. It will take it out of you. Cool, so that is up to basically month 9. So now we're nearing the end. I've lost a considerable amount of weight at this point, and it's addictive. It is really, seeing these results is fantastic. I cannot talk about how awesome it is to see results. We're almost at the end of the 12 months. Now, I'll also say, at this point, I'd actually gone and seen a physio twice because I'd overtrained. So there's a bit of a delicate balance that I found, that if I can push myself to a certain degree, but if I over push myself, I'm going to overtrain and I'm potentially going to hurt myself. I didn't hurt myself terribly. However, it meant that I had to change up my workouts. Now, this is the key thing. Just because I had a bit of a strain didn't mean that I stopped working out full stop. Obviously, depending on what happens, if your healthcare professional says to you, you cannot do it, don't go and exercise. Seriously, listen to what they say. However, I talked to them at length. I said, look, this is what I do. Now, where can I change this? And they'll work with you. And that's really good. So for your own knowledge, what had happened is I strained the muscles within here. So basically like tennis elbow. And at that point, it was mainly because my arms were not used to doing weights and a bit of strain on my tendon through here. So I did a bunch of weights for it, specifically strengthening, and now it is awesome. Look, it took about 6 weeks, but I just changed up what I was doing, and I just shifted focus to a different area where I knew for a fact that I wasn't going to have these problems and I wasn't going to aggravate them. So the other thing that happened was I had a bit of an impingement in my shoulder. I went and saw a physio, and I had 2 sessions with the physio, and after the second session said, you're fine now, because I consistently was making sure that I did the exercises and I was following their advice. Let's talk about the end. So we're almost at the 12-month mark. At this point, I am really absolutely starting to hammer my exercises. So I thought, you know what, let's make it even harder. Let's put some more cardio in there and more resistance training. So I started doing battle ropes. And I found battle ropes were really good. Even though I'd had that impingement in my shoulder, I was making sure that I was being safe while doing it. Now what I was doing was I was doing 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off. At the very start, I was doing 10 seconds on, 50 seconds off. This way I was being able to, A, look after my shoulder, and B, get everything down pat, be able to figure this out. So at this point, the stair machine, I absolutely love it. I love the stairs, and I will always love the stair machine. So I actually by the end of the 3 months, I was starting on level 15. At the 5-minute mark, I was going up to 16, and then incrementally, going up in speed every minute. To the last minute was level 20, hardest level possible. So I was seeing some really good results, and I was starting to shed a lot of weight. I was getting to the point where I'd lost 60 kilograms, 65, 70, and of course at the end it was 75 kilograms. So at this point, I started splitting up my weights. Let's split it out from just 3 sets of 10 and go for 20 reps at a low weight. Then I'd increase the weight and go for 12. Then I would increase the weight and go for 8. And then I'd increase it to the max that I thought I was going to be, and then I was going and doing 6 reps. At this point, I also started looking at doing other weights. So I started really looking at my shoulders, and I did research. And this is the key thing that you want to do, is you want to find something that you enjoy. Because exercise is enjoyable. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love doing it. It's great fun. It's hard work, but it's really rewarding hard work. People will talk to me and say, you look like you're in pain. I'm like, yeah, I am in pain, but it's good pain. It means that I worked hard, and it means that next time I don't have to work as hard to do the same thing, because I'm always looking at progress. So we hit 12 months. Now at 12-month mark, on the weekends, my workouts looked like this. I was going to the gym, and I was starting on the treadmill, and I was doing a 15-minute warm-up. Now I'd started 6.5 kilometers per hour. So that's quite a significant increase in speed. Then I'd hit the stair machine for 15 minutes. I'd climb about 120 floors in that 15 minutes. Next, 15 minutes rowing, and I'd row 3 kilometers. Next, it was cycling. Now I was getting with my cycling to be able to hit 8 kilometers in 15 minutes. In the beginning, when I started, I would have been lucky to hit 4 kilometers in 15 minutes. So this is what I'm talking about with progress. You see this excellent progress, and it pushes me to make sure that I want to do even more. And I want to keep pushing myself, because I want to see what I'm capable of. Because I believe that I'm capable of quite a lot of things. And I continue to prove that to myself. And I like to prove that to myself. So the 12-month mark comes. I've lost 75 kilograms. It was a really, really big thing for me. As you can understand, it's a big achievement. And I'm thinking, I've kind of hit a lot of the max settings on the machines. So I needed to push myself even harder, and I needed a new challenge. So the next thing I did was I got a weight vest. And I began at 2 kilos. It is incredible how much difference it makes by adding 2 kilograms. Even though I could lose 2 kilos in a week, by artificially increasing my weight by 2 kilograms, it was a massive difference. So we're up until month 13 and a half now, after my beginning. So I began at 153 kilograms. I've continuously improved my cardio. My cardiovascular health has just shot through the roof. My resting heart rate was to the point where it was 45 BPM. My blood pressure is actually perfect. Prior to starting my exercise, I was taking blood pressure medication because my blood pressure was high. Now, I actually couldn't make my blood pressure any better if I tried. So I'm training with a weight vest. And I set myself a program to say, right, this weight vest goes up to 20 kilograms. So every 2 weeks, I'm going to increase it by 2 kilograms. Now, I got up to 8 kilos before my knees started to get a bit sore because I was overtraining. Now, look, at the end of the day, regardless of how much experience you have in exercise and how much you've done, it's always possible you're going to overtrain. And at this point, I thought, you know what? Let's just relax a bit and take the weight vest out of it. But I still wasn't doing the same amount of cardio. I thought, right, okay, well, if I'm going to take this weight vest off, and instead of doing 20 minutes on the stair machine, now I was doing 40 minutes.